Gil supported him from the.
Don't worry, I got you.
Fuck that
So
guy.
you'll start seeing them line up.
He's with the blacks.
Isaac was the first.
Hi, everybody. Auntie Speaks. Wasn't that just lovely? What we are going to talk about today are Democrats and how thou dost protest too much. You ever heard that old phrase when someone is protesting about something and protesting about something? A lot of times it's because it's something that person is doing. Well, with the Democrats, this is like so true, it's unbelievable. So we've got a city councilman here, and she was caught making racist comments and about indigenous immigrants and a black child of a fellow congressman. So we're going to listen to some of these really cool stuff that she had to say.
The kid's name is, I'm like, it's like the oddest thing. It's like black and brown on this float, and then there's this white guy with this little black kid who's misbehaved. Este kid is bouncing off the effing walls on the float, practically tipping it over. There's nothing of like a little white kid, which I was like, this kid needs a beat down. Like, let me take him around the corner and then I'll bring him back.
That was Congressman Nury Martinez. She has a D next to her name. So I want you to think for a second, if that particular person had said those first two things, those first two clips, and they had an R next to their name. Yeah? Do you think we'd have wall-to-wall coverage on every news outlet? Now, this was covered. There are people who are calling her to resign. But these two clips are not the only ones. And as you're listening to these, I want you to imagine if there was an R next to this person's name. I want you to imagine demonstrations in the streets.
Yes.
I see a lot of little short, dark people.
Yeah, puro Oaxacan Koreans. Not even like Kevin, little ones.
I was like, no, I don't know where these people are from. I was like, I don't know what village they came, how they got here, but.
And then they're wearing shoes.
Yeah? Making fun of Korean immigrants, calling people little brown, talking about what village they came from. Yeah. Looks pretty racist, doesn't it?
He resigns, hold on. If he resigns and the African Americans look at this as a hostile takeover because he's gone, we'll have to figure that shit out because politically they're going to come after him.
Yeah, but real simple. You got 100 people, right? 52 of them are Mexicanos. I feel pretty good about it. I feel pretty good about my chances of beating your ass.
25 are black. And the 25 blacks are shouting.
Yeah. Basically, they're talking about getting rid of I think it was an African American congresswoman and the quote unquote blacks rising up, thinking that it's a hostile takeover, but it's just a couple of blacks, so that's fine. Yeah? We need to take this place over? Yeah? Once again, I want you to imagine if someone had an R next to their name and these audio recordings were released. You think there'd be some demonstrations out in front of that congressman's home? Yeah? You think so? There's more.
There's certain people who don't merit like us rescuing them. Yeah. She doesn't merit, right?
But
she's not our ally. She's not going to help us. Her district is not a district we can count on.
So you're saying that's the one to put in the blender and chop up left or right?
But that's what they did.
Yeah. Yeah. Saying that about an Indian American? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think so. I think we could call this racist. Now, I have never been one of those types of people where we should record what someone says in private and release it. I truly believe that if you record most people in their private lives, they're going to say some really stupid stuff, and that should not be held against them. Okay? But I am sick of this game. I am sick of being called a racist because I'm on the right with no proof, no evidence. You can't see us saying anything. You can't see us doing anything. You just call us racist. I'm sick of it. Because the racists, in my personal opinion, seem to be stacked on the other side.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
We have a shortage of workers in our country, and you see even in Florida, some of the farmers and the growers saying, why are you shipping these immigrants up north? We need them to pick the crops.
I have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Election on the suppression of the people's democratic right to vote has been truly appalling. So let's be clear.
Yeah? I don't know. Most of those sound pretty racist to me. And it was actually really tough to find most of those clips. I mean, YouTube. Seriously. I looked in YouTube for like 15, 20 minutes to find really good clips of Democrats saying voter ID was racist. And it was really tough to find. Why would it be really tough to find when every single Democrat has been saying that it's racist forever? And let me tell you, Black Americans, when are you going to start being offended? I mean offended. In true sense of the word offended. I'm going to change this. So, according to the Democrats, voter ID is racist because minorities, i.e. Black people, can't get a voter ID. Really, I'm going to change that phrase. Women are too stupid to get a voter ID. So we can't have voter ID laws because those are sexist. I would be completely and utterly offended by that statement. Women are not stupid. Everything in our society requires a ID. My goodness, you can't even buy a pack of cigarettes or a bottle of alcohol without an ID. You can't cash a check. You can't get in an airplane. You can't do anything without an ID. So guys, when are you going to be offended? When are you going to start being offended? I was really trying to find something that I could put here to show that there is one party in America. I don't know if they're racist or if they just use race to get elected. And I don't know what's worse. If you're actually a racist, at least then, we can identify you and we can point our finger at you and go, yeah, racist. Or is it worse that you use race to get elected? You use race to smear your opponents. And I couldn't find a good way to wrap up this video. So you know what? I'm going to pass it to one of the smartest bulbs in the bunches, Candace Owens. I love Candace Owens. If you don't know who Candace Owens is, crawl out from under the rock that you've been under, because Candace Owens is awesome, okay? And she did a video for PragerU because she did a book called The White Plantation, Blacks Escaping the White Plantation or something like that. And in this PragerU video, she talks about that. So let's see what Candace Owens says about the plantation, which is still in existence, created by the Democratic Party to hold blacks down.
The owners of these plantations were almost without exception Democrats. Before the Civil War, slave-owning Democrats used black bodies to massively increase the number of votes they got in Congress and the Electoral College. Because of the 3/5 compromise, a single Democrat in Georgia who owned 5 slaves got 4 times the representation as a single white abolitionist in Pennsylvania who didn't own any.
Yes, the 3/5 compromise. I have literally seen white academics and black academics using this as an example of racism baked into the Constitution, when it was the North who came up with the 3/5 compromise. Why? Why did they get to this compromise? Well, because the South wanted to count every slave as part of their population. Which, what would that mean? That means slavery would have never ended, because one plantation owner would equal, 100 people, even though they were enslaved. That's how history is distorted and sold to you. This was the North trying to stop slavery. It was the racist Democrat South who wanted all slaves counted.
So for Democrats, it has always been about using black bodies for political power. How they are used may vary, but the plantation model remains a constant, even today. Of course, the plantations of the 21st century are not physical, they are virtual. The owners of these plantations are once again, almost without exception, Democrats. Think about it. What today are certain areas of Chicago, Baltimore, Detroit, St. Louis, Atlanta, Milwaukee, and Philadelphia, all run for decades by Democrats, but virtual plantations? Many who live in these areas are largely, if not totally, dependent on their masters, the politicians, for their food, housing, and health care.
Yeah, I think that's pretty smart. These are modern Democrat plantations. Okay? So all of the crime, all of the bad schools, everything that you see in the inner cities, they're all the fault of the Democrats. All the fault of the Democrats. And Republicans, it's your fault too, because you haven't gone in and you've given up the ghost. One of the reasons why I think Trump got elected is he finally went into these communities and said, hey, give me a chance. Give me a chance. Give me a chance to earn your vote. When Republicans have just walked away. But that does not excuse the Democrat Party.
But leaving the plantation still entails great risk. Of course, today it's not the whip or the lash, it's libel and slander.
Yeah. You can't leave that plantation. You can't think for yourselves. Okay, guys. So I'm going to wrap this up. Please go check out PragerU. I put the link in the description. I've also linked Candace Owens' channel because she is awesome. But yeah, we need to start calling these people what they are. Okay? And if you are part of a party who every 4 years, all you talk about is racism, and you scare the public on the opposing party, and all you do is call everybody racist, 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 then you know what? You better be cleaner than the whitest snow. And when you look at the Democrat history, that is not the case. There's only one party that abolished slavery, and it's not the Democrats. It was the Republican Party that was established under Abraham Lincoln. More Republicans voted for the Civil Rights Act than Democrats. I tried to find the clip of President Johnson, what he said about passing the Civil Rights Acts. Do you know what he said? He said, we're going to have these N-words voting for us for the next 100 years. Yeah, that sounds like a great individual. Okay, guys, so comment below. What do you think of this? Do you think the Democrats are racist? Like I said before, I don't want to look into anybody's hearts, but you know what? Every 4 years, all you guys do is scream racism. So I'm starting to look at you maybe a little tighter. So you let me know, like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this and let me know what you want me to talk about.